What's up, everybody? Time for another quick unboxing, one that I've been considering for a while. I'm still going to get a Longines or something that's a little more premium at some point. But that sweet spot for watches is in like the 200 to 400 range, and that's where this one fell. And it was an interesting looking one to me. I went to look at Hamilton's today, and I went to look at Longines, but they didn't have the one. I'm looking for a 43 mil Conquest Quartz, not the dive style, in blue. Couldn't find it. But anyway, I got a couple Bulovas. I got my Moon watch, which is one of my favorite watches. I love the Lunar Pilot. Love it on the red NATO strap. It's just a great, comfortable, crazy accurate watch. Then I've got a Precisionist, which is on leather. So this is really more of a dress band, very low water resistance. It's only like 5 atmospheres, so you can maybe get it rained on, and that's about it. But very nice alligator skin type leather strap. But it does also have the 262 kilohertz quartz. So you'll notice that second hand is very smooth. It doesn't go chick, chick, chick. It's a smooth sweep. It's about as smooth as a Grand Seiko spring drive system. So, and it's just as accurate. It's crazy for $200 something and almost 400. So here's another one. What do you think it is? Pow. Right in the kisser, right? How's that look? How does that stand out? That leaps out at you. So this is from their Marine Star collection. It's the Marine Star Series B. It is the perfect size for me. It is the 43 mil. That's my sweet spot. I'll go down to a 42. Maybe a 41 if I really like it. But 43 for me is kind of that sweet spot. 44 I can do as well, but then it starts getting a little chunky. So anyway, that's what I got. So this is 22 mil lug. It's got a bracelet with a stamped, which I'm fine with. It doesn't have to be machined. You close it, you're not looking at it. So to me, it's, whatever. Simple branding on the bracelet. Nice stainless steel. It is highly polished down the center. And then it's polished on the sides, but then brushed here. So it's a really nice contrast. Not two-tone because they're really the same color, but two different finishes all throughout. The watch itself is going to be mainly highly polished on the crown, which is not screw down. So that's why you've only got your 100-meter water resistance. It is got the little tuning fork logo there on it. Nothing on the chronograph buttons. And then it has a dive bezel. And here's what I like about this. A lot of times you get a 43 mil, but by the time you get down with the borders, the dial itself, which is the star of the show, this is the case, but the dial is what you're looking at. That's where all the character is, at least to me anyway. When you have that big bezel, it makes, it's 43 mil, but then you take off 3 or 4 millimeters all the way around. You're left with a very small display. Here, the bezel is inside underneath the crystal. And you adjust it either way with this. So that is cool. Now, for me, the bezel's for show. I don't go scuba diving, so I'm not really using it for that. It's more just I like that style. But I think that is really cool where it keeps it inside, fully functional, same color. Like that just is a neat look. I like the white. It's a nice high contrast. The silver looks good. Fit and finish on it is excellent. And that is just a nice fitting watch. So, and looking watch. So I may still have to remove another link because I've got the micro adjusts all the way in, and it's just a little tight. We took 2 on each side. I think what I might have to do, thing is these links are kind of big. I'm concerned that if I take out another link, I think if I take out another link and then I move the micro adjusts out, that should be just about tight enough. It's not flopping around too much, but it's a little bit loose. And it's crazy because like you retain different amounts of water during the day or based on your temperature, that can change. Because before it was actually pretty much perfect. But then I was laying down on the couch for a while and now it's a little bit loose. So as it warms up, it'll get a little bit of moisture underneath. from being against your skin, and it'll kind of more stick in place a little bit. So before I go adjusting it, I'm going to wear it for a while. Some people don't mind it a little bit loose. That's just for me. I'm like a little bit. I wish there was an extra click I could do on the micro adjust, but I think my only real option is going to be to take out one more link, and then I'll probably have to move the micro adjust out. So we'll see which side it makes sense to remove that on. Probably take it off on the side here. Yeah, I want to take it off on that side. Yeah, so that's what we'll do. We'll take that off and see if it fits any better. I've got the tools to do that. I believe these are just push pins. Yeah, they've got arrows, so they want to push out that way. So that's what we'll do. We'll try that out. Either way, we'll get it sized right. It's pretty darn close. But I think that is a gorgeous watch. And that orange just kind of pops. Like, that's why I've been taking Kevin O'Leary's advice and, you know, putting red bands on some of my... Although I've got orange and blue and some other ones on some of my watches. But it's nice to just have that splash of color. I think it's a beautiful design. The outer bezel doesn't turn, but it's got that knurling, but it doesn't take away from the nice big face. That thing just shouts out at you. The weight is nice. And really, other than me just needing to adjust the band a little bit more for my wrist, this thing's pretty damn near perfect. It's a nice watch. It is quartz. I don't mind you know, I like the idea of, oh, you can look in the back of the watch and see the automatic movement. I know a lot of watch snobs are really into that. And I have a few. I mean, I've got 3, and there's a 4th one arriving later today. Another Orient that I'm excited to get and show. But I really don't mind the quartz, because if you don't wear them every day, and sometimes you might only wear a watch occasionally, and every time I go to it, it's been 2 days, battery power reserve ran down, I got to pull the crown out, got to set the date, then I got to set the time, then I got to wind it up. And so it's nice to just grab the watch and go. The only time you ever really have to fuss with it is maybe at the end of a month. If the month is shorter, I have to go around through all my quartz watches. Well, I have to go through all my watches other than digitals and update, you know, the dates to account for the month only having 30 days in it or something. But for the most part, you just set it and forget it. And every few years, you replace the battery. Not a big deal. I keep a toolkit, watch repair kit with a whole shit ton of different batteries on hand, so I can do that at a moment's notice. Not really a problem. It takes all of 5 minutes to swap a battery on most watches. But it seems very well constructed. Try to get it to zoom in, and the polishing job is really nice. Got some fingerprints, but as soon as I wipe them off, it's really nice and clean. The bracelet is nice. They're all solid links. It's got some weight to it, but it's not a boat anchor. But I got it for the dial. The dial spoke to me. I was like, that is a gorgeous dial. Would have been cool if I'd been able to get like a neat red one. But I think the orange and white. I've got another watch that's a mostly white with orange accents with the orange strap. Probably should have brought that out, but that's my Pagani design. It's an homage to a Rolex Explorer 2, but it's got that same silver. It's got the stainless steel case, but it has a white face with orange hands and orange straps. So you have that sort of creamsicle. This is the reverse. This is like the negative version of that. Instead of white with orange accents, orange with white accents. But I think that is a gorgeous watch. So I'm going to wear this and see how I like it over time. But, I mean, you know, it's a basic chronograph. So you get your hour, you got your minute hands, you got your date, which is nice and legible without having to have a cyclops. It's down at the 4:30. And what I like about that is that they didn't put it where you lose one of the numbers. Like here, it takes the place of the 3. And to me, it looks like, well, we didn't have room for both, so we stuck it there. Well, put it in between 2, and then you got your normal indexes that looks nice, and you know you're not losing one of them. So what you've got is you got your minutes and you got your hour hand and minute hand. The big second hand is for the chronograph. The current time is moving on the bottom one. This complication is going to be tenths of a second. This will be minutes. So go ahead and start the stopwatch. Nice tactile push. I think that'll only go for about 30 seconds, and then to conserve battery, it'll stop that one. Go ahead and do that. And then nice sweeping back to the top of the hour. So really nice. Lines up pretty good. You can adjust. Actually, it's probably the bezel that's off a tiny bit on that. Yeah. I mean, everything lines up pretty well. It looks good. It's a nice looking watch. So I'm going to go ahead and remove a link and see if I can get it to fit just a little bit tighter. But other than that, I think that's going to be a fantastic watch. Definitely a conversation piece, something that looks cool. This one gets a few people asking me because they're like, "Oh, is that the Omega?" And I'm like, no, it's the runner-up. It's the second watch that went to the moon. But even the woman at the jeweler today, when I was looking at the watches and ended up going with this little guy, she had no idea. She's like, I knew Bulova had some, I know they call it the Lunar Pilot, but I didn't know why. And she was kind of really interested in the whole story about it being the second watch to go to the moon. And that was because David Scott, on Apollo 15, his Omega that was issued to him by NASA, the sapphire lens popped out, broke. He had a backup watch that Bulova had given him, the prototype, and he'd kept it and brought it with him, and that was his backup timepiece. And so when his Omega failed before his moonwalk, he brought his Bulova, went out there, survived out on the moon for a couple hours, and then he sold it at auction in 2019 for 1.625 million. And Bulova was like, it got so much press. Bulova was like, oh, you know what? Maybe we should go back to that prototype and make a modern version of it. So they did. There's a couple different versions ranging from $300 up to $900. So really cool watch and cool story. Bulova's got an interesting history. For a while there back, I think in the late 60s, they were the most accurate watch you could buy. They had some really cool stuff. So it's a nice brand without being overly expensive. I mean, you can spend over $1,000, but most of their watches are in like the 200 to 600 or 800 range. It's just a nice watch. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and fiddle with that, and we'll talk to you cats later. Stay tuned for another Orient. I think you're going to like that one.